Let's do this. Do I still know how to go live? Do I still have it? Seems like I do. Hello everybody, welcome! Welcome to the stream. It's good to be back. Finally back. Last time we saw each other, I was a father of one. Now I'm a father of two. So happy that I got to take this little break. And little Felix is doing wonderfully. He's so cute and sweet and such a blessing. And boy, yeah, it's just so great. So great. We're all so happy. The entire family is so happy. Big brother Augustin is so happy to have a little baby to care about. And yeah, such a great thing. So hold on. Do I still have chat? Let me check my chat. Are you there? Chat. Hello, chat. I need to start figuring out how it works. Congrats. Okay, you're there. Hello. Hello, Kenneth. Hello, Felicia. Oh boy, yeah, congrats. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So such a sweet kid. Such a sweet little angel. Super happy. Alright, so let's start this thing. I'll also be... I don't think there's going to be a lot of people today. Just sort of a back to work kind of stream, so maybe it will be kind of slow. It's almost like I left for forever and now I'm back. I don't know what has changed. I still need to figure it out, but I'm gonna try to not bore you with all the details. If you're watching this, I'm also going to record, and let's all stream on Twitch. Let's do that. If you want to see the... Okay, so they've changed, apparently with YouTube, they've changed the notification system. I'm just trying to figure it out. And I'm also trying, yeah, I'm also streaming on Twitch at the moment if you want to see the horizontal version of this stream. So what we're gonna be doing today is, this is just 9 people? How come? What was going on here? Am I streaming from the right place? I don't know. Maybe we'll catch up. Maybe it's because I was away for so long and it's super slow to start again. Maybe people have better things to do in July. And I totally understand. But what's better to do than make art? Let's make art together. So, just to explain to you how my project at the moment. I'm kind of switching gears. So I'm trying to I'm gonna try to explain in what regards. Trying to kind of switch gears and trying to make this, I'm trying to explore historical paintings, and for this one I want to make a painting of a castle, building a castle. So this is the kind of story that I'm gonna tell. Building a castle as it was done in the Middle Ages, and this is actually an actual castle that's right next to my house. Not right next to my house, but like very close from where I live. So I got there, took some pictures, and I've decided to reenact, you know, the workers, everything that used to happen in the Middle Ages. So you'll see. For this, I'm still so I figured I'm working on background first. So I'll work on the background first, and then I'll finish the scaffolding and all that. So this is going to be the thing today. It's this entire part, scaffolding. So it's going to be mostly tiny details in the background. So I'll explain what what it implies to paint, you know, kind of little details like that, if you're interested. And next, I'm glitchy. Don't know if it's my internet or you, but your stream is glitchy. Okay, I'm just checking this. Thank you, Felicia. Just checking. Stream health. Stream is healthy, so maybe it's you. I don't know. YouTube is probably not pinking up at the moment. There's like nobody showing up. So I don't know what's going on, but maybe it's just because, you know, how YouTube sort of punishes you for having kids and, and taking a break, a little small break. But hey, coming back and there's nobody left. But hey, doesn't matter. We're gonna paint today. I'm gonna explain the thing. So I'm gonna explore. What I'm gonna tell you is I'm gonna explore this kind of castle building. So first, let me explain to you the little the whole castle bit. So not this. I'm gonna show you the actual castle. So right there, here it is. There you go. So I went there and, you know, I actually took some pictures. This castle is so impressive. Castle of Pierrefonds was built during the it's hard to say. It was built during the 100 Years' War, and it was built in 10 years only, which is incredible. You'll see the castle with more details. See these huge towers, and I'm actually I'm pretending in my painting, I'm pretending that they are building this part right here, this tower right here, not from this angle, but yeah, this castle is just breathtakingly beautiful. So this is the shot that I have. No, so basically I just modified the shot and pretended that this is the Middle Ages, and I'm kind of painting historically. I'm trying to be historically accurate. So I'm kind of switching gears here in the research. So took this, tried to do the research and what kind of scaffolding, what kind of leverage systems they had, and I did a lot of research to just try to be accurate. I'll show you in the picture later. Your promo wasn't showing up on YouTube feed, but I got a notification. Yeah, I don't know. It's mostly like YouTube stopped sending notifications. This is mostly why I assume. So because I was away for a couple weeks and now it's like, but it doesn't matter. We'll build it back up from the ground up, like this castle. So basically I'm imagining that they're building this tower and part of the tower, and that the Lord is visiting. So basically at this foreground here, I'm gonna make characters, and I want this picture to be super lively. So I did a lot of research with, you know, actual miniatures from the Middle Ages, from the same era. And see, they had a very different painting technique back in the days. That's not my thing. Like, it was pre-Renaissance, remember? So they had like perspective issues and all, but they didn't have style issues. Look at this. Look at these guys. Look at how they are all nice and they have nice hats, really cool costumes, like, and yeah. So for my characters, I need to take inspiration from this and sort of figure out, you know, how I'm gonna make the armors for the soldiers. How I'm gonna make. There's not going to be a battle scene, but there's going to be guards, basically. So how do I make the guards? How do I make the outfits, the helmets thing? And this is going to be fun because I'm gonna make armors. We'll have fun doing armors. But what I want to do is You know, there's a lot of variety actually, which is pretty cool. I can bring a lot of variety in helmet shapes and all. But this is going to be fun because painting armor is always fun. And obviously, I'm gonna try to make it my more realistic style. And yes, and yeah, historical painting. So let's talk about that. What does it mean? This is the kind of stuff that I'm aiming for, you know, this kind of scene. I know so far it doesn't look like it because I'm still in the beginning, but this would be the kind of, you know, ideal master examples that I would like to go for. This is by Sir Leighton, the celebration of Cimabue's Madonna. So I want to make, this is an important part of what I want to do in this kind of project that I'm going to explore. I think I'm going to explore this idea of historical painting for a couple projects, see how it works, and see if I keep it for later, for future endeavors. And almost like, you know, like when a doctor starts to, you know, think about specializing in a certain field, I'm kind of like, I'm testing the waters, seeing if I want to specialize in this field for like commissions, because I think there might be some commissions to get with history paintings that might be really fun. Because you still need painters to make images of this era that didn't have photo. So I think it's cool and there's potential here. So alongside my, you know, my regular style, the kind of paintings that I do mostly, I'm thinking about, you know, exploring this field and see how it works. Hello, Cody. I was busy hitting humus. That's humongous. See the pun. Yeah, so this is the kind of history painting that I'm talking about. Recreating scenes and having people that feel like they're actually busy doing something, that they're, you know, they're all living their lives with kind of historically accurate costumes. And one of the biggest examples in this field, a painter that I admire very, very much, is Jean-Léon Gérôme. And this is the kind of spirit that I would like. First of all, I want to explore, this stuff is really not my strongest, so far it's never been my strongest, what I've been the strongest at. Big shiny light like that, bright skies, and you know, these ochre colors. I want to do more of this with big shadow shapes and strong sunlight. Sunlit scenes is something that I'm more interested in nowadays. I've explored nights a lot, but you know, these kind of details. One of my favorite paintings of all time, most probably I think the greatest painting that has ever been created. I would take this painting before the Mona Lisa any time of the day. So I would put this as one of the greatest paintings of all time. Because when you look at this, they all have their emotions and all, and you have also this sense of atmosphere. Look at the people in the background, look at how the color shifts in the back. Look at that. Look at how it's, look at how you can see the sunlight, you can feel the sunburn actually, you can feel the dust. Look at this part, how the light hits the arena. I want to create this. So in my project, I have some strong shadow lights coming through. You can't see it. I'll show you later. Actually, let me show you. Yeah, this painting is so good. This painting is just insane. Let's go, new profile pic. Let me see it. Whoa, what is that? I'm sorry, it's way too small for me. But if you put it in Discord, I'll see it. I think people will see, but for me, in my preview, it's way too small. I have a cool Delacroix of Columbus returning at my museum. Nice. Hello Florent, how do you get reference for the figures and how do you integrate them in the scene? Well, let's skip this question for as soon as I finish. So I'll tell you the kind of spirit that I want, and as soon as I finish this, I'll tell you how I integrate the figures and how I play with this. So yeah, I want this kind of spirit. Very realistic looking, but not just the you know, the volume and the shapes and all, which this is good, this is great, but also the light, the quality of the light, the atmosphere, the dust in the air. This is what I want. So my plan is to integrate a lot of this. You don't see it yet, but you kind of see the aerial perspective and the kind of the blue shift in the background. For me, it's going to be a blue shift. In this example here, it's kind of a yellow ochre shift because it's the dusty and kind of golden sunlight. This is the kind of detail that I would like, you know, the beautiful textures, you know, the beautiful costumes, you know, beautifying a scene from the history. This is still by Jérôme. This is a scene, this is Michelangelo sculpting or inspecting the torso of the Belvedere. Also by Jérôme. The kind of scene that, you know, regards history with, you know, reverence and you know, pays homage to the greatest figures of the time. So I want to make a big series on artists and architects that have built the amazing things that we have. Like, we take them for granted, but yeah. Or this, look at this. This is also a kind of middle-aged scene. This is by Blair Layton, Time of Trouble. I really like this. Super simple, dark, gloomy colors. Very grayish, very tuned down, but like it really feels like an early morning, and they're scared by something, and they took all their jewels, and they're kind of running away because they're in trouble, and they're looking for help. Something came up. The play on the looks and the, you know, the atmosphere in the background. This is the kind of stuff that I want. Also, this example by Paul de la Roche. I like this crisp texture. I've seen this painting in real life. It's just breathtaking. The texture is no kidding. It's so beautiful. It's a very big painting. What I like about history painting, it used to be the most revered painting genre, and it used to be the most, you know, the most noble, the most wildly acclaimed before the Impressionists came around and sort of changed the game. But look at this textures. I love this, and you can have so much fun with you know, with all the costumes. So I really think it's worth checking out. Yeah, this is Lady Jane Grey by Paul de la Roche. The Execution of Lady Jane Grey by Paul de la Roche. It's in the National Gallery in London. Yeah, so this is what the kind of history that I would like to do. Not necessarily Middle Ages, even though you know, I could think like it's kind of it's not necessarily really an artistic. Well, I find this fascinating. You know, I love the research. I love nerding around the researching, you know, costumes and all. But this can also be an interesting, you know, career decision, because there might be some commissions, there might be some tourist stuff that I can do with history, like exploring history in painting. So it might be interesting to check out. So this is what I'm doing today. And I'm gonna show you now the setup. I'm gonna try to zoom in a bit on the project, guide you through. So hold on, trying to get back in gear. Okay. So the plan is to have this character right here. So basically, I want to create a scene that's the construction of the castle, and the castle isn't built just because they like putting stones together. It's built because there's a lord, and the lord needs defense. And in this case, this is this guy, the Duke Louis d'Orléans. The king's brother. He was the king of Charles the Mad. If you know anything about French history, it's one of the most famous kings because he was part of the Hundred Years' War, and he was known for, you know, as his name says, being mad. So he sort of lost his sanity at some point and became like, there's tons of stories about Charles the Sixth. He was losing his mind, and he actually he gave away basically the keys to the kingdom of France to the English. And this is pretty shocking if you're French. So, but he was not. This is not the king. So it's the king's brother, and he built this castle that's right next to where I am. And then you have all the, you know, the chamberlains, the followers of the king, the counselors. This would be the master mason. So the master builder, master mason, I think, or the architect if you want. In nowadays terms, this would be the architect. There are the aides right there, the assistants, and this is where we're gonna have fun with the armor, because I'm gonna build, you know, this was very troubled time, so I don't know how it worked exactly back then. But I figured if the Lord is visiting the construction site of his future castle, in a time of trouble, this is the 100 Years' War, and in the 100 Years' War, there was a lot of trees and there was a lot of, you know, murders, treason, and you know, revolts around. This was not a peaceful time at all. And actually, the Louis d'Orléans was murdered a couple of years after, just when the castle was finished. He was murdered in Paris by, you know, I don't know. It's tricky to explain. I'm not going to dive into I can do the whole history, but I figured if there's so much tension with his cousins and you know, everybody in the kingdom, he's going to have some guards, and the guards are here. So the guards, two of them are actually sleeping because they're just so bored. This one is pretty bored as well. This one is kind of interested in listening to the master builder. So they all have different, and this one in the foreground and they all have different emotions, expressions. The workers, I figured this is the only part that I worked without underpainting, because there are so many minute detail that I go for full color, not necessarily ad prima. It's just I'll do full covering with just as much detail as I need to keep it, you know, keep it in shape, in good shape, and then I'll come back with more details, but actually I'll sort of flatten the details in the background. So it's contrary to, you know, technically you add the details in the end. In my case, I'll probably flatten the details with more a real perspective, creating kind of a sort of vaporous glaze to sort of feel, let them feel the distance. But this is basically when I'm making the characters, they're pretty small and they're going to be very insignificant in reality. So right here, it feels like this is the main subject because I'm so close, but it's not. They're really tiny. So this is how it is in the beginning. They look like that at first, and then I finish like that. So, and then I'll let dry and just flatten the details basically. I'll do more details than necessary and just get rid of what I don't need, what sort of takes away the focus. Back, like in the end, you know, I don't know, it's hard to explain this approach, but this is how I'm making it. And yeah, this is very, very detailed. So I did the drawing the outline with cutted pencil, a black cutted pencil. So first with normal pencil and then the cutted pencil, because I have so many architectural details to pick, lots of details. So really I couldn't see myself painting all this with my brush. So I really needed this pencil approach. And that's why I used mostly a pencil for all these details. And today I'm gonna continue this tower right here with the hamster cage. Right there's the hamster cage. This is the actual leverage system. You can see it pulling a weight right there. The hamster cage was the sort of the system a worker would get inside the wheel and just walk and would just raise some heavy things. Did Felix bite? He can't bite right now. I just cut myself on my thumb. Yep. Funnily enough, this reminds me of what we're covering in church about the building of the temple. It's going to be awesome. Thank you, Cody. Kind of Da Vinci Mountain feel. Yeah, the aerial perspective, you mean? Yeah, really pushed the back of this. Feels very blue. I really want to create a lot of atmosphere, so I forced it in my original reference. It's not as blue as it is here. Let me show you. See, this is my reference, and somebody was asking, how do you integrate the models? That's what I do. Look at my silly face right here. I'm playing the characters, and I'm just photoshopping myself in the picture. That's all I do. And this is actually the castle right now is being restored. So there is actually scaffolding. See, there was a tower right there, and I've just removed the tower. Hold on, how can I remove this? See, there was a tower, so I'm pretending that they're building this part. So I'm just erasing it with Photoshop, adding this character, adding all the characters, adding all the kind of the goofy details. See, I'm creating this kind of attempting to paint like I'm being the Duke Louis of Orleans for you. Pretty fancy. It fits, right? It's nice. So this is how I do. This is the same stuff as I always do. So this is how I integrate the characters. So there you go. And yeah, today, no, not the characters, but I'm gonna try to paint this side tower right there, or continue. And that's what we'll be doing. Is this, yeah, this is the chateau near me, the castle of Pierrefonds. And what I'm going to attempt to just show it to the guys in the castle, and you know, maybe they'll say, hey, hold on, this is interesting. Maybe this guy from this castle would like to give you a commission. So I want to try to test the waters and see if there's maybe commissions in this field. You know, maybe the local governments might be interested, local museums might be interested in this, you know, historically kind of detailed scenes. So who knows? Who knows? But I'll try my best now. I'll try that. All right, so let's paint. Enough talking. Enough talking. We have a lot of architecture to build. So far, I have not been bored with the architecture. So that's... I thought I would be, but because I have such a precise outline, once you have the outline, and it's basically copying, really copying, being very, like, I have nothing to imagine. The architecture is already there. I just have to sort of copy it and transfer it. I could pose as a naval crown in the corner. You could. Well, I could for my next project, I could ask the community to pose and sort of have a weird crowd of medieval peasants and you know, soldiers and jesters. Could be fun. Yeah, let's volunteer. Let's have a little. Well, maybe I'll ask for next project. The only thing, yeah, is exactly, it's like I sort of tried when I did the pose, I sort of oriented the light source so that it feels like it's the same, that it has the same direction. And yeah, so far I was afraid of painting the architecture and all. I was kind of like hesitant, and I was like, oh my god, isn't it going to be like a pain in the, like, excuse my French, a pain in the butt, but not so much. It's been fun so far. Maybe because I haven't been doing a lot of it, but it's been fun. And maybe because I know the place, and also because I don't have anything, like I just have to follow the actual model and be very rigorous and disciplined with the very disciplined with the architecture. I have nothing to imagine. It's all there, which is also a great thing. I'm thinking my next project, I don't know, my next project in this history exploration, I would really love to do a sort of a Da Vinci in his studio, because he was with the King of France, Francois Ier, at the end of his life, and I would like to see the make a scene of paint. Francois Ier discussing with Da Vinci in his studio in Clos Lucé. Would be fun. So I'm gonna try to not hide the part I'm working. It's kind of the side. I'm really working on, you know, making it progressively. Might be needing to just yep. Yeah, it will be hard for posing and lighting. You just need to, with good instructions, and if you know a couple things about photography, might not be so hard, because you know most of the end result has been severely transformed. So if you know there is slight inaccuracies in the pose or in the light, I can always like fix it up during the painting phase. So all the things I do here, for example, if I have some wooden cutter, I'm gonna kind of melt the wooden cutter and melt it with some sky cutters, so blue in this case, to create the aerial perspective. So my brown for the wooden scaffolding here, my brown is kind of mixed with the blue. And by mixing the blue and the brown like that, I want to recreate the effect of aerial perspective. And the further you go in the distance, the more of the sky cutter integrates into the cutter of the object. So it's not just the blue. Sometimes you say aerial perspective, you add blue for the more distant objects. Yes, with the sky like that, but if it's a sunset, if it's dawn, you will have to use some of the sky cutters that might be orange or red. So, oh, hello, Stephen.
There's nothing more to read on my script. What am I supposed to do now?
Hello, Stephen. Stephen was not on for you. It was just on for me. I was the only one hearing, but you can reactivate Stephen, and it should be gone. It should be good. Hello, Leslie. Hi, everyone. How's the baby? I bet cuter than anything. Oh, absolutely. It's cuter than anything. It's
your face is in the way. Move, dude.
Having fun with the commands, are we? Oh, it's good to be back. Good to know the commands are still active, up and running, which is it's more than I expected. Oh yeah, oh, the baby is so cute, my god. I can't resist. Just the sweetest child. And he, you know, guess what? He's kind of a sleepy kid. I was surprised. He sleeps way more than expected. Well, when I expected, because his brother was not a very sleepy baby. But this one is. Second one is easier, yeah, definitely. First of all, you worry a lot less. is like for the first one, the slightest sneeze is like, oh my god, what's happening? Oh my god, I'm so afraid for my baby and all. And for the second one, it's like, oh, okay, oh, I put the baby next to the shredder, but yeah, don't worry, it'll be fine. It's like, no, I'm just kidding, but hey, you know what I mean? It's like you worry way less because you know all this stuff is like, you know, they always like have like this weird kind of noise. They always do this kind of weird, you know, saliva thing. It's like a baby's so weird. They do this stuff all the time and you just stop worrying about every tiny thing happening. I don't know when. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's good to see you. I'm back as well, so it's like the reunion. Hey, no worries, no worries. Just happy you're back. Just happy I'm back as well. It's fun. Oh, Drink is back as well. See, it's a big reunion. I'm telling you, everybody's getting reunited. It's like, oh my god, it's such a great time. Hello, Drinky. Okay, so there's some architectural details here that I want to kind of go slowly about. I don't want to go too much in details, but well, as I said, I'm gonna deal with details my way, which is make my details not worry about them at first, and if they're too prevalent and too annoying, I'll sort of squeeze them out in the end with aerial perspective and sort of atmospherically just tone them down. Yeah, it's a very different style from what I normally do. I'm kind of exploring history painting at the moment. So I don't know. What do you think about it? Like, do you think there's? I don't know. I do it because I'm a nerd and I find it interesting. And this is also a castle that's like really part of my local heritage. So I find it fascinating. But do you think I should explore history painting a bit more? What do you think? Because at the moment, that's kind of my new passion. But I know that they sort of come and go. So we'll see. I'll see how long I can keep this up. But I can paint this castle 1,000 times, and I think I still have like tons of stuff to explore. What I would like is I would like to also have, you know, a bigger subject, like on the workers and only the workers, kind of stone carving, you know, doing something very physical, and with, you know, the castle kind of more in the background and being less the center point. Right here, for this project, the center focus is more like the crowd the Lord visiting the castle and all, and sort of the it's more a sort of the society, the castle building with all its aspects, the Lord providing the money, the workers providing the workforce, and you know, the stone being erected into something magnificent. But I also would like to be, you know, like maybe doing something like peasant life in the Middle Ages, something like, you know, ordinary people, how did they live? Or maybe an artist like a priest of this, a monk of this era, making art like they used to do. I'm also very interested, like I said, about kind of exploring famous artists, kind of making them scenes from the studios of famous artists of the past. Basically, what it was like paint how I think it was like in Da Vinci's studio, something like that, Raphael's studio. That's also something that I would be super interested in. Kind of like the idea. So let's do the hamster wheel. Actually, I studied the design. Oh, and maybe a cathedral as well. A cathedral would be, oh man, I would love to paint a cathedral. Yeah, the castle of Guédelon. Yeah, Dranky. There is this castle. Actually, we can check it out right here. It's so interesting. And actually, this is where I got, not this design, but this is where I got the design for the hamster wheel, the scaffolding, the attires. Let me check if I can find it. Yeah, this is Guédelon Castle. So let me talk to you about this. This is what Drenke was mentioning. They are building a castle from scratch, from the very scratch up, with nothing but medieval tools. So everything they use, they find on site, or they sort of use only. They sort of use only. Let's see, just pictures. I want just pictures. Okay, so this kind of water mill they built themselves. They built the castle. How do you... Yeah, so basically they're building the entire castle by hand with historically accurate techniques and methods. So no electricity, just horsepower, manpower, and this is an experimental archaeological project, basically. And I found so many references from checking out, you know, how they build the castle, the workers, everything they do. They do all that. You know, this, for example, the hamster wheel, how they use these techniques, and I'm pretty much using them straight up as they are in the example they have. Look at, they're pretty far in the construction so far. I don't know how much. I visited it was 8 years ago. It was meant to be a sort of a 25-year project, and they're sort of dragging. They're sort of dragging it because the entire point of the place is the construction. So they are in absolutely no hurry to finish it, because when they finish it, they have no visitors anymore, nothing to show. I think when they finish the castle, they want to build a church, but or in the entire village. So basically, they have the entire village that goes with the castle. The castle was just the house of the Lord, basically, but there would be so much more outside. Not as fancy, of course, but you would have, you know, all the houses and all. So that's a really cool project, definitely. If you're in, it's in the Burgundy region in France, and yeah, it's awesome. And you can also visit this castle that I'm painting, because it's also absolutely breathtaking. And this was something else. Like this castle, the castle of Guédelon, they are sort of imagining that this is a sort of a low-level lord, so a relatively modest lord that has only limited resources. This castle right here was incredibly expensive to build, and it was built in only 10 years. So there was a lot of money back in the days to do this kind of stuff, because it was very urgent. It was really a time of war, and they really had to build forts all over the territory, because having a castle like that meant that you would control the entire area, and nobody could just steal the land from you. So it was a guarantee. It was an investment, basically. If you control the area, you control the resources of the area, you control the taxes of the area, and the English can't just come in and take it away from you, right? Or the Burgunds can't just take it away from you if you have a very big castle. But more than that, this castle was built with finesse. It's not just a big stack of stones, it was built with great care. They really did more than just defense. They made a huge effort into building something that looks very elegant. And actually, this castle right here, a little bit more story about this castle. It has been restored in the 19th century, because in the 19th century they had money for projects like that, and they wanted to use resources to kind of do archaeology, and sort of they had this very romanticized idea of the Middle Ages, and they used some of their resources. Napoleon III invested a lot of money to use this castle as sort of his kind of hunting cabin in a way. So he had the castle restored, because maybe you don't know that a lot of the castles that we have are in ruins, most of them, which was the purpose. Like, destroying them was the purpose. And when they were not in use anymore, like most of the lords abandoned them when building forts was not a strategy anymore. As soon as the cannons were invented, basically it was not a strategy anymore, not a viable strategy. So they kind of abandoned them. And but yeah, so the oh yeah, well, you know, I have a much bigger canvas than this one, Cody, and I saved it for my cathedral building. I wanted to test the waters with this relatively small canvas first. See how it feels. with this castle project and do maybe a cathedral once I'm set on this idea of historical painting. Yeah, cathedral would be awesome. It's just fascinating how they used, like, they didn't know all the physics and engineering that we know today. They didn't have all the, you know, the engineering and all, but, well, they did know engineering. It's just, it was way more empirical. So yeah, so this is my nerdy fascination of the moment. What's yours? What are the big projects for you guys? So this is wooden, but I'm trying to not make it too obviously too brown, because I really want to preserve this aerial atmospheric quality. Oh, that's right. That's good about Scotland. That's why they preserved this heritage. In France, well, it's been preserved mostly, but most of them are in ruins because, well, they were destroyed back in the days. And next, during the Renaissance, after it was absolutely necessary to have a castle like that, basically what they did was they changed the architecture. So they changed the windows, changed, you know, lots of things in the architecture. That was because the defense goal of the castle was not an imperative anymore, so they made them way more fancy, and it ended up with the ultimate thing, which is Versailles, for example, the castle of Versailles, which is not at all defensive anymore, but it's all about prestige. And some of them have been, you know, converted, but most of them have been, you know, left on the side, and they've built new palaces, like with the new style. So the straight line of the cable, of the rope, probably going to keep for this cable here. How dry is it? I might try something. Yeah, lots of practice. Okay, bye. Alright, see you. It's pretty simple to respond to your question, nice. let's paint. Yeah, exactly. The more modern Renaissance castle are in the Loire Valley, where they still have this kind of mixed quality between, you know, you still have the old codes of the Middle Ages, but you have the aesthetic of the Renaissance, you have the elegance. So it was basically soon after that. So this is the last era of this this Middle Age period. The Hundred Years' War kind of settled. After the end of this war, all the strategy changed because of the cannons and all. So the war changed, and also the culture changed. So the castles changed as well for something more strategic and oriented in, you know, like the Vauban fortresses, for example, in France. You have something that's more distributed along the entire territory, controlling maritime routes, trade routes, stuff like that, rather than a place where the lord sort of lives and the people work. It's more about controlling trade routes. And the aristocracy still lives in palaces, but that have nothing defensive about them, because the country is defended on another front, so way further, basically. Art. Oh, definitely Felix is cuter. Definitely. So dang cute. It's like a little angel. No kidding. Looks like an actual little Bouguereau angel. It's fine. Augustin is very happy to be the big brother, so he's really cool about it. And we make sure to, you know, take care of both equally, because, you know, we don't want Augustin to, you know, feel left out. It's kind of the worst thing could happen to him. So we want everybody to, you know, so every time one of the parent is taking care of the baby, we make sure that the big brother is also, you know, it's also cool. Oh, by the way, I have an important announcement to make, by the way, guys. This Friday I'll be let me switch actually for this announcement. I don't have a special thing to show to you for that, but this Friday I'll be streaming alongside this Friday I'll be collabing with the Magma team and alongside Anya. So from, if you know, from the Discord, Anya from the Discord, she works for the Magma team. So Magma is an app that lets you draw on your paint and draw on your computer together with other friends. And Anya is if you know her from the Discord, she's in charge of their streaming stuff. So she asked me to do a painting collab. So while I'm painting real life, one of these real life casts right there, the Magma team will be painting digitally at the same time. So it's going to be a kind of a little collab on Friday. So this is what we'll be doing. Yeah, and this Friday, so same time. So instead of being here on my channel, it will be on Anya. I have to ask if there's a special link or anything for you to join. I don't know if you need to download anything. Maybe you can join. Not sure. I don't know how it works. I'm not touching the Magma thing. I'm doing actual painting, which is cool. I like this. And they are doing the digital stuff, and they're going to teach me about it while I'm making my painting. So this is cool. Hey, hello Balsam. So yeah, I don't know if I was clear or not. Like, Magma is basically, yeah, and a digital app, so it's going to be digital versus IRL painting. Is going to be fun, interesting to see. Have you ever tried digital? I have not. So maybe this will lead to a cataclysm of me trying digital for the first time. Who knows? Not ready for that. I can tell you. Not ready for that. Well, but I do have, like, you know, I do digital as much as, you know, as much as this. This is the amount of digital that I do. This barely, you know, putting, you know, this is the amount of digital painting that I do for my projects. You know, it's not that different, but it is though. And every time I try to do more details and all, I just feel very bored. But maybe it's just because I don't have the right, you know, the right tablet or anything. Yeah, absolutely. I know all the knowledge transfer is just... I'm way too lazy to do all the brush settings and the pressure control angles of the... I don't know. Like, I need the minimal amount of skills and knowledge to do the kind of the Photoshop that I need, and I leave it at that. But yeah, I do know it's interesting and all, and I would love to know more. If it was the kind of the magical thing that you can learn, you know, by just snapping your fingers, I would just gladly learn that. But so far, like, if I have to invest time and effort into learning something new, I would invest this time in learning sculpture, something like that, something completely different, rather than digital. Like, I feel that I have just enough digital knowledge for, you know, to function decently. Yeah, sculpture. Sculpture is going to be my next thing. I don't know. I have this feeling. Oh, the link is already up. Nice. Let me actually check the link. Oh yeah, it's already up. Nice. I didn't know. Yeah, this is it. Oh, I didn't know it was already up. That's cool. That's cool. Let's check it out right now. Hold on. So this is the magma stream. Yeah, the schedule, but there's still a good. You can get there and click on notify me if you want, and subscribe to Magma, which is what I just did. And yeah, so this is where it will happen. Magma Classroom. Live in 2 days. Nice. You can click on notify me if you want to be notified, because it's not going to be on my channel. I don't know if I'm allowed to multi-stream, but I think the best is if you guys get there. I think it's more the spirit. I'm almost exclusively digital now out of necessity. Well, if it's something you need, like you work mostly with digital, sure. I think that maybe if one day I need to produce only images for internet, I'll switch to digital, because I'm not gonna just waste time painting with real paint to then just take pictures and put it on the internet. Especially digital is much cleaner, like there's much more options. So, you know, it all depends on the final, the expected outcome. Can I hang out and watch what? No, I'm never stopping painting, but sculpting is definitely something that I would love to do at some point. It's on my list of you know, things to do before you die. Sculpting and then painting your sculptures. Alright, let's have tiny characters. No, but like the northern France and northern Europe still have some amazing things that that you don't want to miss, though, because if you ever travel, I think I recommend visiting more than just France and visiting a bit of Europe. Like I I assume that if you travel this far, considering the size of your country, Europe is tiny, so there's like, don't underestimate the beauty of Northern Europe. There's more beauty there than anything. But yeah, definitely the weather, like California-like weather is more in southern France. But hey, there's beautiful stuff all over the place. Yeah, that's great, Aislinn, that you're learning with bugs. That's definitely a great. That's a great, great start. And you'll see that whatever you learn from the bark, it will transfer and it will just make you better at everything you want to paint, like digitally. It will definitely increase your skills. What nation that shall not be named? Are you kidding? Is it true? Like you can't, like there's a word ban on this? Yeah, well, so lucky in France. Like France, we're kind of cranky people. We always like to complain, but we definitely live in one of the most beautiful countries in the world. And I'm not just saying that because I am from France. Like, no kidding, we have beautiful mountains. We have the biggest mountains in Europe. Well, Italy also have them, but we also have, you know, lots of things. We have like all the seas you can imagine, the northern seas, the Channel, the Mediterranean, the Atlantic. The only thing we don't have is like the desert or something, but like even though in southern France you have some pretty warm areas and also we have all the climates. On such a tiny country, we're kind of pretty lucky to have such a wide variety. You know, we have all the beautiful heritage, the beautiful culture that was left for us by our ancestors that have built these stuff. How to turn a mundane hill into something magnificent for centuries to come. Just build something magnificent on it. Like this was just a hill with no specific appeal, and they decided to build an incredible castle on there, and all of a sudden it becomes, you know, it becomes a wonder for the centuries to come. Yeah, but you know, New Zealand is, as its name says, it's new. It's new, so you don't have all these very old stuff. The best you have in New Zealand is Lord of the Ring props. It's impressive and all, but we have the actual Lord of the Ring. We have the actual keeps, we have the actual forts that all these stories are based on. And New Zealand is impressive in, you know, the mountains and all, but we have some incredible mountains here. Yeah, rocks, but you know, you have rocks that have been put together, and sort of when you make a beautiful castle with the rocks, they sort of get an age. So you sort of fix them in time. Oh yeah, America beats, like America is OP, like it's not even fair, but like you don't have the old stuff, but it's like so OP. It's so overpowered. America is like, it's not even fair. Like, you know, if you play Age of Empires, it's like playing with the cheat codes that gives you all the cool stuff. Like America, like the US, has everything. All the climates, everything. It's like insane. But I'm saying, what I was saying about France is not how it's better or anything. It's like, for such a tiny country that's, you know, smaller than Texas, we still have a lot of stuff. And when you think about Holland, it's even tinier, but they have like enormous culture, like buildings, paintings, incredible art all over the place. That's the cool stuff about Europe. It's like there's always something exciting to see. If you're into this stuff, of course. Especially if you like castles. The UK as well. Yeah, it's very jam-packed indeed. That's because it's so old though, and because it's been preserved. That's cool. Yeah, that's one of the things about the US is like at like the beginning of the 20th century, they started building amazing buildings with really cool style, and then they destroyed most of them to rebuild the cities and make them very uniform. When you see some of the old pictures of the cities back in the, you know, America took some time to build, so of course you just can't come in a completely new territory and build something and have as many castles and all. But when they started making their first skyscrapers, they looked way more awesome than they do today, where it's just glass and, you know, concrete. They had style. They were not as big, but they had like they had an actual touch. They had an actual style. They were really cool looking buildings, and they tore down most of them to make place for, you know, parking spots and stuff like that. And it's crazy how the US was actually at some point extremely stylish and beautiful. Not all around, because it obviously takes time, but it was extremely stylish. And they sort of gave it away, gave up, and now everything looks like that. Like the new buildings. Even in China, you can say China, Taiwan, Indonesia, Frankfurt, Germany, wherever, it's like all the buildings look the same. It's why this uniform style? Because I can tell you that this castle right here doesn't look like the castle from southern France. And what's frightening though is like...
Command, studio cam for 10 seconds.
Sorry, the studio cam can't work on this.
Back to normal.
We're also guilty of this, of abandoning styles. Like right now, most of the European cities, the new buildings, they pretty much look as ugly everywhere you look. Because they don't build for aesthetic anymore. They build for, you know, profit. But it's short-term profit, because when you build for aesthetic, I can assure you that it's money well spent. Because people will visit your country for centuries to come if you build something not just functional but also beautiful. If you decorate it, if you spend time putting beautiful art in your city, people will come and visit it for centuries to come. Whereas if you build it for just functionality, people will never just will never just be interested in visiting it. They will just let it rot and let it, you know, go back to dust where it belongs, because beauty is more than just, you know, decoration. So when you make something beautiful, you're not just making nice decorated things. You're working towards an ideal, and this ideal is what keeps the idea fresh. It helps mental health, yeah. No kidding. Yeah, the US is still a baby it's basically I would say it's probably its teenagers in terms of, you know, country years, maybe even more younger than that. Country is so new. You already built like tons of stuff, so that's good. It's just, I think it's not in the mindset of this era to build things by, you know, taking time and making nice ornaments and just put beauty first is not the zeitgeist. And because most of the stuff that was built in America was very recent, has not been a priority. Yeah, exactly. They were studying American and European. There was a nice mix of very modern American touch with European, you know, elements. It was breathtaking. It was really cool. And if it had survived right now, it would be one of the wonders of the Western world. But there's always been this idea in America of building for short term, you know, building and destroying and building again. Like this has never been a problem to you guys. I don't know how. Maybe it's because how your country is made of like how it's a country of, you know, pioneers and stuff. You don't mind, you know, trying out something, destroying it and building again because, you know, I don't know. Yeah, profit, yeah. But what I don't get with profit is like, if you make something actually beautiful and if you try to not just make a building but make a monument that will last for centuries, you're not just making profit, you're making profit for centuries. What's the brutalist movement? You mean the Bauhaus and stuff like that? Yeah, exactly. They want profit they'll see in their lifetime. Whereas back in the Middle Ages, when they were building a cathedral, they wanted the glory of God to shine for eternity. That's all. So it doesn't matter if the damn cathedral takes 50 years, 100, 200 years to build. Doesn't matter. What they wanted back then was the, you know, just having their ideas shine forever. Like, that's all. Very different. Plus the problem with beautiful buildings and monuments is like, maybe it's profit for centuries to come, but not necessarily profit for those who paid to get the thing built in the first place. So not interested. Like the investors are not interested in something that somebody else will benefit from. So why would they build a beautiful building for somebody else in like 50 years to, you know, benefit from, and that's not them, not what they are paying for. Now I can understand though. If it was my money, I would just also find it difficult. Thank you, Kosher Black. Yeah, that's true, Cody. I totally agree. Yeah. Back then it was kind of the communal thing to serve beauty, because it's serving beauty is serving God, and so it makes sense, and you didn't have to justify that the cathedral had to be as beautiful as possible. Everybody was agreed with the idea. Hello, Jeff. You didn't have to justify to investors and patrons that you are going to try to make the thing like as beautiful as possible, whatever it cost, because it was simply a self-explanatory thing. And right now we're in a much more individualistic civilization, and if you invest somebody's money, you have to let them know how it's going to be useful for them, and justifying it with some sort of an ideal is not going to cut it. It might with a couple very wealthy patrons that might still be interested in this, but overall you'll find mostly shut doors, because people will not be interested in this endeavor. Man, this hamster wheel is tricky. Tricky to paint. I'm putting, like I said, it's like, since I want to make this kind of historically accurate, I'm putting more details than necessary. I just want to make something coherent, and then if it's too much, I'll sort of flatten the details later. No, typically this is not something you would want to do, but in my case, yeah, because I want the hamster wheel here to be sort of functional. I would like to have someone who knows about this stuff can look at it and say, hey, I know how this system works. It's nicely painted and all. That's what I want. So I'll remove the annoying details later if needed, but I'll start with more details than necessary, just to make sure that what I'm painting is functional. Thank you, Leslie. I need a mentor. Well, you can join the Discord first of all. You'll probably not find a mentor, but you'll find a community of friends. I think it's okay, Balsam, because we're talking about the Middle Ages and buildings of the Middle Ages. So, like, you can't talk about the Middle Ages in this era without talking about religion, because it was not an optional part of their lives. So, well, this is military architecture, but we were talking about cathedrals, so it's hard to talk about cathedrals without scratching this subject. We didn't dive into religion though. It's like religion is a sort of a fact of culture. So yeah, no, I don't see like it's exactly when we're reviewing when we're exploring a Caravaggio painting or something like that. It's hard to avoid religion, but it's not seen as religious propaganda. It's just it's a fact that it exists, right? So we're talking about it as it is. But we can talk about military architecture because that's the point of this painting. Military architecture was awesome, and the point was to kill people. Look at this. They used to build fancy buildings to just destroy their opponents. They went into great heights to make sure that their opponents would be destroyed without any chance of approaching, like with these, cool device. How do you call that in English? In French, it's a meurtrière, which means a murderer. Like a murdering window. That's cool. Military architecture. Oh yeah, it's a nice book. It's a very nice book if you're into history of art. Changing my headset. It's too warm. Should have known. Oh, my ears were burning under this. Oh yeah, they have amazing architecture. Yes, I do. Normally, whenever I'm painting, I'm recording, so I have hours of hours of that. Sometimes I put it on Patreon when it's interesting, but most of the time it's really dragging on, so I don't know. Don't really know what to do with all this stuff. And but yeah, that wasn't the idea back then when I first started YouTube. I actually the main goal of this channel was to put time lapses, because back in the days time lapse was the big thing. It was all about time lapses. it's not anymore, like it's less effective in terms of views if I make just time lapse, and also because my paintings take so much to do, takes so much time to finish, and because I make several paintings and I have like various projects at the same time, I realized that it was hard to come up with an effective video schedule if I was just counting on time lapses. And sometimes, like, I would start a painting, then let it on the side for a couple months, and when I come back, I have lost the video footage of the beginning, so I can't make a time lapse. This is often how it happens. But like typically, whenever I'm painting, or whenever I'm painting an interesting part, because you know sometimes it's very boring, I'll record what I do. French fries are Belgian, yeah. We don't call them French fries, by the way. We know that the Belgians are the specialists in fries. My bandage is just so annoying. It's annoying to paint with that. Alright, so I need to finish this cartwheel and this part of the...
Warning, emoji wall starts in 10,
wall.
9, 8, 7, 6,
Let's go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Emoji wall unlocked. This is chaos. Seriously, we need to break YouTube with emojis. We have 1 minute.
Okay.
Let's go, chat. We can do it.
Let's go.
Let's go, chat. Quick, spam emojis.
Nice emoji.
We need to fill the screen. No time to waste. I'm serious. We have to spam emojis in chat now before the timer runs out.
And some cake emojis.
Hurry up.
Popcorn.
Quick, let's go, chat. We have to spam emojis in chat now before the timer runs out. No time to waste. I'm serious.
Let's go.
Hurry up. Quick, let's go, chat. Let's go, chat. Let's go, chat. Let's go, chat.
It looks like fireworks.
Hurry up. It ends in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop.
Nice.
Emoji cooldown.
Thank you for the emoji wall. Who's responsible for that? Cody? Oh god. There's still remnants of the emoji wall floating around. Technically, Felicia urged you to. Ah, gosh. Felicia pushed him though. Ah. Bad influence. Bad influence. Oh my god. Okay. So I was streaming on Twitch this whole time. Let's see how I'm doing. 1 viewer. How big is this canvas and how many hours are in so far? This canvas is 1 meter over 80 centimeters. And well, I think he left. 1 meter over 80 centimeters. And this is the how many hours? I would say 4, 6, like total painting time would be maybe, no, yeah, maybe 8, something like that, yeah. But 2 days. But I haven't painted the whole time. Most of the work that I did was like 2-3 days of just the drawing. And the painting hours, not so many. So 5 days altogether and like 6 to 8 hours of just painting these characters, the sky and stuff. Yes, I am on Twitch. I am on Twitch at the same time. I need the perfect way to paint the small details. Well, just have round brushes, synthetic round brushes, and sometimes a big brush will work because it can be put into a very fine tip like that. So have lots of new brushes that feel almost like calligraphy brush with super tiny tip. Doesn't have to be like, the brush doesn't have to be thin, it just needs to have a sharp, very sharp tip, very nicely shaped tip. Yeah, have a good night, Drinky. See you next time. Alright, so I noticed that I have maybe... Let's go back. I noticed that maybe I have made this too blue. Because it feels almost as blue as this part. So it needs to feel less blue, more brown, and more contrasted. So let's go back to the palette. And let's bring a touch of brown, not too much though, because with these kind of atmospheric effects, it's very subtle. But yeah, so I need to make it more brown, more contrasted, less blue, let's say. Because right here I have a very good atmospheric effect, but too much. So I'm gonna go over these areas, try to check also the direction of the light source. The sunlight hits in this direction. I'll try to follow the orientation. Try to build not details, but more the visual effect of the details. So the overall kind of texture of the details seen from afar. It's not details, it's texture that you want. You want the right amount of texture. The amount that your eyes would technically be capable of grasping at a certain distance. Because obviously, if you take a photo with your camera, you can zoom in on the area, and with camera nowadays, you have a pretty high resolution. You can have a pretty high resolution view of the subject. What you want is go for what your eyes would technically be capable of perceiving. You wouldn't perceive all the tiny, minute details in there. You would see a sort of a sort of a vibrating texture, a mere suggestion of something. You know, you can understand what it is, but you don't have the high resolution like the camera. So even though when you have a photo reference, it might be tempting to, you know, zoom in and use the resolution, the high res ability capacity of your camera at your advantage, but really you're not helping the harmony of the painting, because the painting requires you to work for an eye that's not expecting to see a photo. So what you want is to create just a mere impression of the details, not the details themselves. You want to recreate the visual impact of what the details do to your eyes, not the actual details. My underdrawing was with a pencil, yeah, a cutted pencil actually. Too much of a difference between. What happened to my finger? It got cut. Yeah. By not just during I was gardening, I cut myself. Very silly. Very silly, actually. Okay, so let's do more contrast. You have the choice though. Can be a good idea to follow what I did here is first start with low contrast, and increase gradually for objects in the distance, like that. Yeah, that's what I said. Normally, like typically I would do under drawing with a brush, but in this case, because I had so many details that, and also historical details that I wanted to preserve, like I actually did research on this stuff, you know, so I don't want to, you know, the brush has more, you know, is good for improvising and sort of swiftly working with with, you know, kind of like panache and working organically. But for all the tiny historical details that I wanted to include in this painting, it was not easy to do that. So I preferred to do all the details with the pencil, just to make sure that I have a trace. So it feels less organic, but it's way more tight, and it preserves all the research much better. So like, I'm much more confident that all this research that I've done on the hamster wheel and all, it will pay off, especially since the perspective, there's a lot of tracing. You need lots of rulers and, you know, measuring and all. Like, this is not something like architecture is really something worth doing with care. The perspective is not something you can improvise. So for something like that, a brush is definitely not ideal. Or you can do trace with a pencil and then reline with a brush if you want, but I really think the erasing ability of a pencil is definitely something worth considering. All right, my friend, I think yeah, it's also kind of the details are all the fun as well for me. The details are the most fun part. Been working on all these details are, you know, all these, especially all the research and all. And right here, you know, I'm gonna wait for the area here to dry so that I can make a sharp rope with a little thin line. All right, so that's it for today, my friends. I'm gonna leave it at that. It was a nice catch-up session. Don't forget, Friday I won't be here on this channel, but I'll be live and you can come and hang out on the Magma channel, Magma Classroom with Florfar. So I'll be there, and that's where you can find me on Friday.
Screenshot taken in the Discord.
Screenshot taken. I think I'm in front of the painting as usual. We'll check it out later, but I mean, you know how the good habits die hard, you know. All right, my friends, I'll see you for the next one. It was fun being around with you. Take care. Bye bye.